Welcome back. We are doing one more recap of our most recent D&D session, session 11, Wild Seas on Terra. This is Vexxingcat. Oh, it disappeared for a second. um,
That driver update.
yep. Well, gonna wait for her to come back. But thank you for stopping by. Um, So let me try and give a recap of what happened overall. So the general thing is that we were on our way, the delayed time to go to the next island with all the villagers on it, or on the boat. So it was like 64 villagers, and then our crew, and then that rock dragon. Um, we were finding ways to take care of food and water supply, and we were talking to the overall people on
All
the
right.
boat. Welcome back.
I think I think we're in business now. Hold
Nope,
on.
your VTuber is not on yet.
Okay. 1 second. But you can hear me.
I can hear you, and you are picking up.
Excellent. Okay.
There you
Check
are.
check.
Yep.
Hey.
So I just
I
gave
returned.
a quick summary of we're still on the sea. We still have the people, 64 townspeople, and the rock dragon, and we were looking for food and water sources.
hmm And we're up one snail.
Yep, we will get to that for sure.
Awesome.
So I guess we'll start with the very first thing that happened, which was Ray changed his class. He used to be a druid, and now he's what, a ranger? Maybe? But
Yes. So he was previously a druid. Was the cat man, and he was a druid. But um, I think we talked to him, and he talked to the DM about his like class change, just because he wasn't really playing the druid as a druid should be played. I really think his change in class from druid to a ranger in this particular case, a rifleman, a ranged fighter, kind of like Usopp from One Piece, is going to be better suited to his playstyle, as well as like adds another dynamic within our party for both damage and also ranged fighting. Because he was playing ranged fighting, but as a druid and not really, healing people and
and just
other.
fighting animals instead of being like, let me be one with nature.
Yeah.
I think it was for the better too. So I'm glad he did that. So I think he's still working on his abilities and stats because it seemed to be just like a split change at the start of the session.
Yeah, there were about like 15 or 20 minutes before the session began that he began talking to the DM about it. Was like, "Hey, um I don't think that I'm a druid." And we all agree that
Yep.
he is not a druid. And so he started that conversation, and they were able to rebuild a new character pretty quickly. As far as that, what is it, Unity, the Fantasy Grounds Unity, or whatever it's
Yeah.
called, that platform made it really easy for him to quickly just build a second character. And so they they got it open, they got it set up, and boom, was ready to go.
Yep. So I guess the next thing that was the major things to happen was we had the glyphs, which I don't think we showed in the normal stream, but the glyphs look like this, and we went over to the elders from the town, and one of them was able to give a little bit of information about them. Let me see if I can pull up my notes. I should have had this up already.
So the glyphs were crudely drawn by Magellan, who's still our prisoner below decks. And you were able to go over to Sukomiko, the rock dragon, and like you asked him about it. He wasn't able to show anything or know anything. Then there was like the question is like, is it because he's blind? We don't know, but seeing is not his forte. But yeah, the elders were able to like recognize some of the symbols.
It sounded kind of like almost a sandstorm. There was desert, there was like earth moving.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I don't know where my notes are, but
It's okay.
yeah.
I look forward to seeing. I'm hoping he'll actually the DM will push the image through on the game next time because it's really nice to have that as like a reference for our notes.
Yeah. I think last time they were in the group channel, but not the voice channels. There was a little bit of confusion on where they went, um, which even I pulled it up to throw it in our group chat while we were going.
Yeah,
But it'll be
likewise.
fun. It's a mystery for the glyphs. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Are we searching for a treasure? We'll find out.
What does it mean? We don't know.
Yeah. And then after the glyphs, um, we went. I cast the water breathing spell, which made a bubble over people's heads, and so they could breathe underneath water. And I got it on all of our crew, and I think Bernon also, but I mean nothing happened with him in the water.
That's true.
So we had our interaction with. I guess I'll do it in opposite order, but we had an interaction with a sea cow. Big and giant. It was floating up as I was swimming down, and my character, because when Biscuit had been fishing, he brought back some wreckage. I'm like, well, let me go ahead and try and look for some of that. Maybe there's something in it. Um, and as I was diving down, this sea cow was going up. And I said, YOLO, that's just an aquatic animal. I'm going to keep going and not go back to the boat. Where your character and the rest saw this just monstrous sea cow come out, and
This
you had to make a
90
decision.
foot sea beast comes roaring out of the water with rope tied to its horn because like Flynn the fighter and I were both trying to reel in another batch of fish for the boat for us to help sustain ourselves. And so we're just pulling it in, and we give it a good yank, and suddenly this giant sea cow comes roaring out of the water. And my first reaction was like, if
Cut
we
the
kill
rope.
this, Isabella's gonna be so mad. That's just the first thing that came to mind. Is like, oh no, she's not on the boat. She's gonna be so mad if I murder this.
But at
So
the same time, that's a lot of steak for the crew who wouldn't be
it's
hungry.
true. Is
And
it
then I
fish?
remember
Is it steak? Surf
when you
and turf?
guys
We
were
don't know.
pulling it up, the description was that like the fishing line was wrapped around its horns or its nose or something on its head. And I just remember you yelling, "Cut the rope! Cut the rope! I got the rope!"
Yes. It was coming up, and then like the rope was tied around its horn, and it was just like surging out of the water, and then it leaned against the boat. I was just like, cut the rope, cut the rope, cut the rope, please, Jesus, and you like make it stop, make it stop. I couldn't even imagine anything else. And then my first initial reaction is like, huck huck a pickled herring barrel at it, make him go away.
And you did pause it. It started chewing on the barrel.
Yeah,
So
that gave us a little breathing room, and of course, like Ray's hackles go up, and Simon's like, "What is going on?" And then all the various people on the boat are sliding towards that side because he's leaning against it like a cow leaning against a fence post, chewing cud. It's like, oh no. It's like, what do we do? I'm like, Isabella's not here. What are we supposed to do? Like, I wind up jumping on the rail and jumping up to his nose ring, which apparently is just cosmetic. We don't know where it came from. I don't think that was there naturally. But then I tied a rope onto that, and then I was able to shimmy up to the top of his nose, and uh, like then Simon was over there like doing sound manipulation, and Ray's got his rifle cocked, and Flynn is like holding the other end of the rope, preventing me from being launched into the sea. it was a wild time. The sea cow was a fun event. And the scary thought is like a little metagaming. That's a 90-foot sea beast. That's not even as big as they're going to get, because they will become like, we will be like toothpick sized to some of the sea beasts that we will see potentially in this game.
Yep. And then the ending of it, it just swam off, didn't it?
Yep. Basically, it's like with the power of sound magic, I was able to yell at it and like, "Get off my boat!" And then it like, you know, surged back, and I cut the rope as I swung down and got back out of the boat, whacked my knee on the railing, but I did land it. It just barely. And he surged backwards and then just like dove back down and disappeared. So, um, but you had your own adventure down there
I
below the
did.
depths with Giuseppe. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yep, yep. That was the sunken ship that we went down to. Um, it. Oh, I thought I had the bounties listed in there, or the items, but we saw this ship wreckage. It looked like there was a chain going down, and I didn't know if it was being held by something or if it was to an anchor. But whatever caused that chain to be attached to the ship, it was holding the ship down. It looked like the ship was trying to rise up. Don't know how old it was, but we decided to do heat metal on the links until they had a link break off and it could rise to the surface. And while it was rising to the surface, Biscuit grabbed a non molten hot link, carried us up, and then we searched the ship and found a um, little treasure chest, and there were a bunch of gems in it. There was one single potato. There was a um, like a plant that was swaying in the water, which I don't know. I didn't investigate it or anything, but I'm definitely gonna plant it in my room for better or for worse. Um, Hope it's not like seaweed that needs to be in the water. And then there was a little gem that looked like it was the shape of a leaf. I feel like there's something up with that, and I will have to investigate it during our next session. And then there was a fine vest that was like silken and whatnot, and I will also need to investigate that to see if there's like maybe some pockets, some hidden stuff, or symbols, or I don't know, something telling of it. But there were no humans, humanoids, creatures inside the boat, because I was also worried what if there's something trapped in an air bubble that's trying to rise up and then they start attacking us, but nothing came from it. Um, then we got a buku amount of berries, like 3,000 or some berries, which we split among the crew. Um, and I guess whatever chest we brought everything up in, but it's shiny and I want it. Uh, so that is the sunken ship, but it was nice to be able to use the breathe water for something other than just fishing.
I love the imagery of the bubble, the air bubble that's around your head, instead of just like having gills or like just being able to breathe water just because you're under there. I love that imagery of like a little bubble helmet. It's just kind of cool concept.
Right, and mentally, I think that it's like goggles, so you can see better outside. Because if you open your eyes and the water is kind of murky, where if you have goggles or something on, it's a little bit easier to see.
It provides a greater level of clarity for sure.
Hmm.
I think that if that plant needs to be in water, we can rig up some bottle or some like
Yeah,
vase or something. We'll be able to make that happen. I'm not too worried about it.
yeah.
Um I think like you guys found quite a bit of assets in
Hmm.
that sunken ship. I do know, like, as far as our story is going to progress, we're going to move forward time like a day or two um, towards more of the journey. Just, I think, just to kind of move the story along a little bit faster.
Right.
Um, I, I do think it'll be good, like, to do the investigations on those artifacts that you were able to find in the
Yeah.
boat.
and maybe some magic checks on the gems, but I will have to prepare the spells that I have before we do that. But if a day passes, that's great because then I can say, yeah, I did that the night before. Um, and we get a little bit less silence and not sure of what to do because there would just be normal tasks, daily tasks to keep up with the ship done. There wasn't a lot of talk between people, but I did go down to Magellan and I shaved his beard because I'm not a fan of beards, and that is where Mr. Gregory lived, which is the snail that was in his beard originally. And then we bargained with Gregory because he seems like a useful asset, and I'm not sure if anyone else would be able to get him working right. So get his cooperation in there. He seemed very into the rules and had this hey New Yorker accent from like what the
It was like
40s.
that transatlantic accent, and like, looky
Yeah,
here, see, toots, we're gonna go da 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 da. It just had that cadence, and honestly, the DM did a great job with his accent. I really liked Gregory.
yeah.
It's just fun. So like a short range transponder snail used for like secret, clandestine, you know, reporting secret information off to wherever it's going, and turn the tide. And it's like just the image of that, you giving him the berry and his whole cheek just pouched out. It's just it was really fun. I loved that whole interaction. It was fantastic.
Yep. Bribe him with food and then bribed him with the you won't have to live in a beard. You can sit on my shoulder.
Sold. It was
Right.
just immediate, like, yes.
Mhm.
That whole interaction where you're like, I'm just gonna go down to Magellan and I'm gonna shave his beard, and like all of the guys got real quiet
Oh,
real fast, like,
they said stuff. They
beard.
were like, "How could she, monster?" And
Why
I'm just like, "We're making sure there's no more snails. It's not hurting him physically."
we're
And
making
then
him look better,
right,
you
and
know?
I complimented him. Gave him some praise that he looks better without the beard, and like patted his cheek and stuff. So
Grace is just rolling on the floor laughing at the whole thing because I don't really care, but I know, like, Isabella does not like beards. So, never has, never will, cannot stand them. And, I honestly appreciate the trope. And honestly, I think that character detail, like, moving forward into, like, future encounters, like, if you make, like, casually make the suggestion, it's like, have you ever considered shaving?
yeah,
During the courses of conversations, it's just, mwah, it's absolutely beautiful. Absolutely wonderful.
absolutely. But yeah, Gregory is now on our side. He gave a little bit of information, like he hasn't heard from any snails recently, and then it comes to where we have our bounty on our group. Um, I did comment that my bounty was a little bit low,
I mean,
considering.
I'm impressive, you're terrifying.
Well, I feel
So,
like you did the most damage, so you should be pretty high up there. And then I did second most damage, so I should be pretty high up there too. But all I got was a dead or alive, where everyone else wanted you guys alive for capture.
they fear for their lives. They fear you. They're
Yeah.
like, this woman is highly dangerous, shaving people's beards off. You never know. If
Yeah.
if you can only bring her in dead, we understand. It's just like,
Which
wow.
is surprising because, like, the only people on that island that were from that crew are with us. So to be able to give descriptions, I'm not sure how they got those descriptions. Like, was the
I
snail sending them on its
I
own?
feel like hypothetically, while we were sleeping and Magellan was potentially still awake before we honey potted the man,
Yeah.
he was probably whispering to the snail descriptions of what each of us look like, and then that was transmitting that information to whatever ship or air pirate ship or whatever it is that the Marines are using to capture that information, because the range on that little guy, because he's so small, like the size of your
Mm-hmm.
thumb, he's so small. His range as a transponder snail is super, super limited.
Which
So
is
if we,
like, how close is someone else? Is someone following us right now?
well, hypothetically, Grace thinks there's somebody following us in that storm at our backs.
That
I
would
think
make
that's where
sense.
it is. Like both me, Vexxingcat, and like my character both believe that there's somebody in that, because that it was like obscuring the the whole
Mm-hmm.
the water line from the sky to the water line, dense rolling fog and storm with lightning and rain, and so it could hold a whole armada in there for all we know.
Right. And I remember someone mentioned submarine, which is why I was like, I wonder if she sees anything while she's underwater with the breathe water, but then we saw that sunken ship.
Speaking of the breathe water,
Mm-hmm.
I found it hilarious that Flynn was like, no, 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 I'm not getting in the water. I have devil fruit powers. And then suddenly, like, other people in the crew were like, oh, that's right.
Right.
I have a devil fruit power too. I was the only one that could have dove in the water, not had any issues.
Mm-hmm.
And you were already in the water, and then Giuseppe as well. So it's like, I'll stay on the boat because, like, what if somebody falls in and I need to rescue them? And it's just shenanigans. But
Yep.
yeah, Ray's character going, oh yeah, I have devil fruit powers. I can't go in the water. I'm gonna sink. It's just, uh, I was in absolute stitches.
I wonder if I can use the breathe water thing, the bubbles, to make it easier for you guys to fish, like you and Biscuit, because then you don't have the restriction of having to come up for air.
That's true. Just load up a net, give it a quick tug, just keep going. That's a good idea. Need to get me one of them harpoon guns. Maybe I can get Giuseppe to rig something up for me.
Yep. As long as you don't grab something that's too big.
Might need to set up like some sort of like, kind of like a on a dolphin they have that dorsal fin. Maybe set up like a leather strap that I can hold on to a biscuit, and then like be able to like slither through the water and then shoot the harpoon gun at something, or use a spear or grab a net or something so we can work together. Maybe I just need to hold a net and like he just chases them in. I don't know. Biscuit's a talented, large, agile creature. He can do a lot.
Yep. Absolutely. He can also shrink if need be. Um, but I think also the bounties had, as we mentioned before, our full descriptions, but they also, in the notification, it made us look like the bad guys. The Marines, the Ocean Army, decided to say that we attacked the village, and the
We
people
blew
on,
up the island. Yep.
right, we blew up the island, and the people on our boat were pirates just like us, rather than these are the villagers from that island. So it's, I don't know what's going to happen when we're going to get to the next island, if those villagers will be able to be like, yo, friends we've traveled to before that know us, I am not a pirate. We need a new place to live. And then us, are people going to just start coming at us right away for those bounties? Because it's not a small sum of money.
Mm-hmm. And there's no real resolution either, because Magellan had said that a number of the elders and important people within that village were pirates,
Mhm.
but I don't think they were, or if they were long since retired,
Or they
especially
were
the elders.
positive pirates, not looting pirates.
Yes. Like, fuck the government pirates rather than, like stealing from people.
Right?
Um, yeah.
Out there to adventure on the seas and not have to come home, at night every night and go to a boring, mundane job, but searching for treasures. And that could be a fun life. What
I'm
kid didn't
excited to
grow up
find
being?
out more about Cyrus's grandson as well, Nathaniel. That was
Mm-hmm.
like a couple episodes back.
Yeah.
Um, and seeing like where that leads, because he said that his grandson is a pirate, and he was like, yeah, I lose track of him. I don't know what's going on. Oh, woe is me. I haven't heard from my grandson in years.
But maybe since we saved the grandpa, he can team up with us if needed. Maybe we
Yeah,
will
that
earn
might be.
something.
I mean, we don't know what his situation's like. If he's with a good crew, then he might not want to change. But if
Right.
he is like a good, good faith actor, a good guy, is just out there being pirates to be a badass, then there's no reason we couldn't add him to our crew. We're about 20 people short of
Right.
a real crew. Like we got the 60 some odd, villagers, but they're like, we can fish, but they're not good for like rigging the
Anything.
sails or like helping man the boat. I think there's like one of them that I'm able to like rotate out so that way I can sleep rather than navigate with the boat.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, we're about 20 men short of a full crew. We're just our crew is just like a skeleton crew. We can
Right.
get her going and go places and do stuff, but like we would be more effective if we had more people.
Right. And Vernon knows how to cook, so maybe we can use him as a cook. I was just thinking off the top of my head, I don't like sharing bounties with like people who didn't do anything, but maybe I should give a little bit of gold to some of the villagers so they have something instead of being like drop you off at an island with absolutely nothing but the clothes on your back. Good luck.
Mm-hmm. We ate all your food. Good luck. Bye. Yeah. We've got some funds. This is a good like good course or good thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as previously in other sessions, Grace is kind of like Nami on One Piece, in that she's like, very money motivated.
Mm-hmm.
But I I don't know that Grace as a character would donate funds from her own personal share, but she wouldn't hesitate to help in any number of other ways. But I do think like Flynn's a bleeding heart. He's gonna like give up half of his money, so he'd more than make up for whatever Grace would do.
Yeah, Flynn could
Uh,
donate what he wants. Maybe we could fish and stuff and they could land with fish to sell or something.
yeah, have goods to sell, and yeah, because
Mm-hmm.
they left their home with nothing. Now, it's possible that after a couple of days, the fires and stuff on their original island, yes, it blew up, but it could still be there. There could still be like
Something to
personal items and
scavenge.
yeah, things to scavenge, or maybe they want to go back there and set up their village. I don't know.
Right.
The poison problem's been dealt with. It's below deck.
Yep.
They have this protector in this earth dragon. I'm sure he'd prefer to go home rather than stay on a whole new island. There are options. There's definitely a dynamic, and I think them coming with a protector
Mm-hmm.
too to Syrup Village, because that's where we're headed next,
Mm-hmm.
is going to be beneficial, because it's like, hey, we would like to join your village. We brought our creature friend here who can help protect the village from you know
Many
wayward
things.
pirates or
Yeah.
monsters or what have you. So
It's real good at digging subway tunnels.
yep,
Um,
you need a
and
new well. He's got you.
right. Uh, I'm not sure about going if the villagers wanted to go back to their island. One, the trip and how they'd get there, and two, based on the I'm assuming explosion where it turned day into night, that could have sparked other things to see that out on the ocean, and they may have
That's
already
true.
gone and plundered and looted whatever was remaining of the village.
That's also true.
Yep. So, any other thoughts and recaps on the session?
Um, overall, I think like the balance of like I would like to see like a negative. I would like to see people figuring out what they're gonna do between when their turn comes up to when their turn is up. That's something I noticed. Like, I knew right away what I was gonna do, and like quick thinking, okay, I need to, you know, feed this thing, get it off the boat, like, and now I need to figure out how to do that. And then we were in an initiative, and I bought us some time, but it felt like the rest of our crew is just kind of like, oh, I'm supposed to do something now. Like, they're either
Right.
not paying attention or not fully invested. So it'd be nice to see more role play from them. I think if like Giuseppe is generally pretty good about the RP side of things.
Hmm.
Um, when he's like in it. So it's good to see like him put on the accent and like, what do you mean, and like, and then role play with um his cappuccino, or like actually have, a little bit more in depth. I would like to see that sort of like dynamic of like role playing their character more, from Ray, from Flynn, from Simon. I do think with the changes that Ray has made to his character, that will potentially give him more opportunity to express himself, I think. Because I feel like as a druid, he didn't really know how to play that character, and
Right.
so that probably affected his ability to RP. Um, I do like those moments though when Simon's like, "All right, highway to hell on the banjo, let's go," or when Flynn is like, "All right, I'm going in," and just gets really excited. So we just need to get give them that enthusiasm that they can R play, role play some more scenes together.
Yeah. Um, I definitely would like that too because I had a friend watching and I was just like, I pointed out some things and I was having him give some feedback on it. But instead of being able to give feedback on it, he said, I've been watching for 5 minutes and I haven't heard 2 words. And I was like, oh, you're right. Because I do feel that there is that slowness in between turns. And as you mentioned, it seems like there's a lot of planning on your turn, but not before, where I'm trying to be 5 steps ahead and I'm going through, which is why I moved my sheets area to the side. So hopefully people aren't seeing me click through everything 5 million times in between my turns trying to decide what I'm going to do. So that way, when it gets to me, I have option A, option B, and option C, which hopefully will still work because I never know what everyone else is going to do. Um,
That's true.
and so it's a little hard if, I'm going to do this and attack this sailor if they took him down or they lured him away or they did something. And it's like, okay, well, he's down. So how about if I do that instead? Um,
This'll. I know that Valis was gonna make you a character sheet for Nibbles as well. I
yeah.
feel like that'll help you. Well, actually, I think it was for Biscuit. I'm not sure about Nibbles,
Yeah,
but
Nibbles doesn't have a lot of skills. He's just
it's
cute.
okay. Very, very cute. I love the wings. That's one of my favorite parts. He is the captain now.
He is the captain
Uh,
now. I feel like he should be collecting hats at every like pirate ship battle or island we land on. So
I
he
like
has
it.
his own little collection and he'll swap between them like with his personality.
Phenomenal. Where did he get the tricorder hat? We don't even know.
Why is he wearing a Sunday, fancy hat with flowers on it? He's got to do what he's got to do. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I know that I'm really invested in my character, and I think instead of just let me roll and get some stats and be like they can do this and do that, I I enjoy the story of it and the backstory for her. So I'm trying to weave things in and out of my gameplay with that. And
We
uh,
know that Isabella hates beards.
mm-hmm,
So I would like to see more of the backstory. We still haven't had much opportunity to like get into, you know, what makes a character stick, you
yep,
know. But I think it's just more role play. Maybe getting, you know, 60 plus people off of our boat. Potentially the Earth Dragon off the boat. I don't know, maybe he wants to stick around. We'll see.
I
Like
worry
will
about an earth dragon on the water, though.
Oh, right? It's like what is he gonna do? We don't know. We don't
Yeah.
know. I guess how it depends on how he feels about Surt Village and if it's like the right kind of island for him. Maybe he wants something a little more solitary. We don't know. We'll figure it out. I just worry about, like we left behind the bats, we left behind all kinds of other like
Yes.
natural
I
occurring creatures
immediately
on this
thought of
island.
what if these villagers have pets, but I didn't want to bring it up because it's like, what are we going to do? And how heartbreaking would it be to be like, sorry, we can't take your pets. There's not enough room. I would have been so upset.
Yeah. Maybe they were like any of their like carryable pets were in with them inside the town hall. I don't know. I feel like that village might have lost a lot of their pets due to the poisoned water also.
Yeah, that would make
It's like
sense.
we could have survived as humans, we could have survived a lot longer, but like smaller creatures,
Don't
greater
always
quantity.
have the thought cognitive cognization. I can't think of the right word, but the thought process to be like, oh, I drank from this water and I feel sick. Let me stop drinking from that water. They
Mhm.
just go, oh, I'm thirsty. Let me drink from this water again.
This water tastes funny. Oh well, blah 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 blah.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh,
Okie
well,
dokies. I
yeah.
think that's
Quick recap.
about, yeah, it's
I
what,
had fun. I
30
love
minutes?
these.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I enjoy talking about them because there's not time during the game to talk about the game.
it's
Uh,
true. It's
yeah. So when is our next game? I don't think we mentioned it.
well, we're
First one.
lucky since we have 3 Sundays this month.
Uh-huh.
So potentially our next one should be the 15th, and then we should have another one this month on the 29th. So we'll have three instead of just two
Yeah.
during the month of October. I
So
think things are going to slow down a little bit in November, but potentially we could have another long session uh, the weekend of Thanksgiving, since that's a Thanksgiving, I believe, is a Friday or a,
it's
yeah.
usually on the Thursday because then there's
So,
Black Friday the day after. But
yep.
I'm gonna say probably not because my house is supposed to close that week.
Yay!
So far that date may change, but I have the feeling that I will be driving to and from to take things from storage there
That's
and
fair.
get stuff set up. As
That's
I go.
fair.
Yeah,
So
but
we might
see.
have a situation where in November we only have one session. That could happen. Um, I'll prepare for any eventuality. I just know during the holidays things are complicated because we've got people from literally all over the world. We've got three from Australia. We've got three Americans and the American DM, and we're all getting together at different times. So I I'd like
It's,
to see us have two, but if we only can fit
yeah.
in one, it's not going to make it.
Um,
It's not a surprise,
I mean,
really.
you guys can have a session without me too. She could just not be feeling well and stay on the boat. Maybe
That's
she's
true.
captured. Who knows?
There's a lot of different options, especially if we give that lead time.
Uh-huh.
So your house is going to be finished, and then
Hopefully.
potentially you're running around,
Uh-huh.
and then as soon as you know exactly when it's like move-in ready, or potentially going to be move-in ready, if you let me know, then I can plan my trip too, because I'd really love to be able to come down and see the new place and like
Yeah.
check it out, and then we can have a girls' weekend. It'll be great.
Absolutely. That would be
I'm
great. You
excited.
can go to the hot pot place, which I'm supposed to go to this weekend. It's Korean
Mm.
barbecue and hot pot. I'm so excited. Um, but
Take
yeah,
pictures if you can.
it's hard to take pictures when you just want to shovel the food in your mouth.
I valid,
Yeah.
completely valid. I understand. Maybe just before, like when it's still too hot to eat, so just like a real quick, and then you can proceed to shoveling.
Yeah. Absolutely. So I guess the next game on the 15th will be streamed by me. I'm not sure if I'm gonna stream it through Twitch because I prefer YouTube,
Yeah,
but
that's fair.
I'm not sure how we can get it over to your Twitch because you're not affiliate yet, so you can't upload recordings. So we will have to work on that. Work
Yeah,
on getting your numbers up.
there's a couple of weeks between now and then. Like I'm doing my series, the Spooktober series. That's going like Wednesday, Friday, and Sundays. So maybe I can reach the numbers I need for affiliate between now and then. I don't know. We'll see. Tell your friends, tell your wives. If you want to hear me read Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, that's what I'll be doing. So shameless plug. Um, and then I'm excited to hear back from that group, the um, VTuber community. What was it called? VT Social. I'm
Right.
excited to see what's gonna come of that. I I'm gonna just talk about that rabbit hole. So I found out about VT Social by seeing a watermark on a logo on a VGen creator because I'm trying to get a logo made. And I was like, oh, what is this? And like, I haven't heard of this person. So I went to Twitch and I was like, I believe their name was Emrys. And like, at Emrys, nothing. Okay, well that's odd. Well, let me look at the watermark closer. So I blew it up, and it was like at Emrys VA dot to or something. It's like what is that? So I checked that on Twitter. I checked that on Twitch. I'm like I can't figure it out. And then I looked into it, and I was able to find the link to the VT Social, which is apparently through Mastodon, which is again another software I've never heard of, but they have an application that you can use on your phone and a website. But it's a community of VTubers that hang out and like help each other out and like give advice. And I'm kind of curious to see more information about what that is and where that's going to lead. So I noticed like the next day you tweeted it too. I'm like, well, all right, well, I guess we're gonna find out together.
Right, because I see your tweets. I'm like, let me just go ahead and do this. I will do this. I'm just putting the. Oh, this is not selecting real well. I am scrambling to put the links up. Um, for the Twitches. I don't know why mine is so big when yours is not.
Don't worry about it.
Uh,
That's close.
Fail. I'm
That's good enough.
sorry.
Like slide it over a little bit so you can actually see the full name. But yeah, Kitten for Cuddles at twitch.tv and then Vexxingcat at twitch.tv. Check us out. We can always link that down below on YouTube as well.
Yeah.
Uh,
And then
and
do you
then
have a YouTube? I thought I saw a post for it.
I do. It's the same. Vexingcat at youtube.com. So I posted my first episode, like the episode 0 with Edgar Allan Poe poetry and short stories. I posted that there. I think that's live now. And then all of my live streams will be posted there at least a day or two later. After the post stream edit, make sure tighten everything up, make sure um, get cut out any unnecessary gaps because I find that while I'm sitting here having a conversation with you, I'm not going uh because when I'm trying to think about stuff, I'm having that dynamic conversation. It's much easier to do that with another person to bounce it off of, which is why D&D is fun and these recap sessions are so much fun because we're having that back and forth, and so there's not that little awkward let me think of something else interesting to say in this second.
Yeah, or sometimes you cover when I trip up on words because I know I did my why I love prestidigitation, and there were times in there that I stumbled. I'm like, okay, I wish someone else was here to cover for me while I fix my mouth. Oh,
That's
but
fair.
it's good to have you around and in a chat. I like the group streams, but if anyone has any recommendations or suggestions on how we can make our streams better, definitely feel free to comment and let us know because we do take feedback and try and work with it.
Like, share, subscribe.
Mm-hmm.
Let us know what your thoughts are. If you have any suggestions, we're open. We're new to this streaming game, so anything anybody can give us, we appreciate. So
So thank you so much for stopping by and doing the chat with me, Vex. I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream, but I hope everyone has a wonderful evening.
sounds great. You have a good one.